Okay, I'm about to share a very personal story here. So, can we just set down all the judgment? Let's just put that aside for a while. First off, if you don't know me, I'm Elsa Martin, functional nutritionist, life coach, and founder of Whole by Nutrition, where I support women to balance their hormones, design a life they love, and love how they look and feel. Welcome back to Renewed and Radiant. All right. Today we are talking about something that so many women quietly struggle with. And let me tell you, this has been such a struggle for me over the years. That is turning to food for comfort. Not because we're hungry, not because we lack discipline, but because something inside of us is asking for relief. And instead of judging ourselves for it today, I want to help you understand it because when you understand it, you can actually change. And this is not about removing comfort from your life. It's about learning how to meet your needs in a way that actually satisfies you. See, the thing is that food is one of the fastest ways to change how we feel. It's immediate, it's accessible, and it works temporarily. When you eat certain foods, especially the sugar and the processed carbs, your brain releases dopamine, the feel good hormone. And that's your reward chemical. So if you've had a stressful day, you feel lonely, overwhelmed, unappreciated, your brain learns from many years of this pattern that food makes this feel better. And over time, this becomes a pattern. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is efficient. And here's where this gets even deeper, especially for women over 40. Your body is already more sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations, cortisol, which is the stress hormone, hormonal shifts of estrogen and progesterone. So what happens is that stress goes up, blood sugar becomes unstable, and then the cravings increase and emotional resilience drops. And now food becomes both a biological need and an emotional coping mechanism. And this is why you can feel like, I know what to do, but why am I still not doing it? Well, because it's not just mindset, it's actual chemistry. And so many women that come to me try to fix this by saying, I just need more discipline. But here's the truth. You cannot out-discipline a dysregulated body. When your nervous system is overwhelmed and when your blood sugar is crashing, your brain goes into survival mode. And in that state, comfort wins every time. So instead of asking, why can't I stop this? A better question is, what does my body actually need right now? So let's walk through this practically, and then I'm going to share my very real and vulnerable story with this experience with you. First off, the next time you feel the urge to eat for comfort, I don't want you to just try and shut it down. Instead, pause and ask, what am I actually feeling right now? And not the surface level feelings. Go a layer deeper. Like, am I overwhelmed? Am I feeling lonely? Am I just simply exhausted? Do I feel out of control somewhere else in my life? Because going to food in those situations is often covering something. So before you try to make a better choice and fist your way through it, first calm your system. Try something like this, taking 5 slow, deep breaths, or stepping outside for some fresh air, or just simply putting your hand on your chest and slowing everything down. Because a regulated body makes a different decision than one that is totally stressed out. And this is powerful. So instead of removing comfort, let's talk about expanding it. Asking yourself, what are other ways that I can comfort myself that actually leave me feeling better afterwards? Your list might include things like going for a walk, calling or texting a friend, just sitting quietly with a tea or a coffee, or prayer or journaling, listening to something uplifting. And that does not mean scrolling social media, because that does the opposite. See, food is just one option when we think about it. So let's not make it the only one. Let's find other ways to bring ourselves comfort and joy. Another thing that can happen is not eating enough during the day. And this is where we can miss it. Like if you're skipping meals or you're under eating on your protein or you're just simply trying to run on coffee, your body is going to seek comfort hard at night, in the evenings. It's trying to make up for what it did not get throughout the day. This is not emotional weakness. This is simply your body trying to compensate. So again, going back to ask yourself some questions like, did I eat enough today? Or did I have protein at each meal? So that instead of, I shouldn't be doing this, try, this makes sense. And I'm learning a new way. Because when we just bring shame into the equation, it just keeps the cycle going. But actual awareness can break that cycle. You can step off of that hamster wheel of emotional eating. And if you try to make food off of limits, you create an urgency around it. Have you ever had the thing where tell yourself you can't have something and that's the exact thing that you want and you just want to focus on? Instead, try telling yourself, I can have it, but is this what I actually need right now? And that shift alone is so powerful. But a reminder, we don't break these habits overnight. We need to interrupt them consistently. And that's the key. Every time you pause, every time you choose differently, even slightly, you are literally rewiring your brain. And over time, the urge becomes quieter, the pull becomes weaker, and you no longer feel controlled by it. So if you've been turning to food for comfort, I want to encourage you with this. You're not broken. You're not lacking discipline. Your body has just learned a pattern over many, many years. And patterns can be changed. That's the good news. With awareness, support, and accountability. Hi, that's me. I'm here for you. And with the right tools, you can become the woman who knows how to meet her own needs and no longer uses food as her source of comfort. This is exactly the work we do inside of my Belly Blaster program. Not just telling you what to eat, but helping you understand your body and what is actually going on, your patterns, and how to actually shift them so that this just becomes natural for you. And it is totally doable. Let me tell you, 95 to 98%, not 100% by any means, but a huge majority of the time, I'm able to break that pattern and to shift that. But let me tell you about the awakening when it was like a slap in the face. And I was like, oh no, this has got to change right now. Many years ago, probably, wow, like 18 years ago, I was in the vehicle with one of my girls and driving, and we had just been through something very stressful. And I was just like, oh, so stressed. And just like, I remember driving into town, and there's McDonald's. Verbalized it out loud. I said, oh, I could just go for a Big Mac and fries and a Pepsi right now. And my daughter looked at me and just said, of course you could, because that's what you do when you're stressed out, Mom. And I was like, A, she's right. B, I'm being a terrible example. That is awful. And C, this needs to change right now. It was, like I said, like a slap in the face. Still, that was long ago, and it still makes me get emotional just thinking about it. That I was being controlled like that, but also that was the example that I was being like awful, awful. But when we know better, we do better. And let me tell you, that was a huge turning point for me. And I have like improved on that a million times. Not perfect by any means. There's occasionally where I'll still catch myself going to the pantry or the fridge. And this is a trick, a hack that I share with the ladies inside of my program. I'll share it with you right now. Is where I will encourage them, because this is what I do myself. If I find I go to the pantry, to the fridge, seems like an unusual time, that's not actually time when I would normally eat or something. And I'll just pause there for a second and ask myself, what is it you're actually looking for here? Are you actually physically hungry? Okay, then fine. Have something healthy to eat. Most of the time, when that is the situation, it's not that I'm physically hungry. It's that I'm avoiding something, maybe a certain type of work that I don't want to do at the time, or I'm going for comfort. I'm just looking for some peace, something like that. Hey, if you're a woman of faith, we know up here, we got Jesus. We turn to him for our peace and our comfort and our joy. But that doesn't always, play out in real life. Let's just be honest, right? Real and raw. So there's still times when I'm standing at the pantry or the fridge and I ask myself, what is it you're actually looking for here? And it's just it's a self check. It's not, don't have to say it harshly, don't have to be mean, don't have to throw in some shame with it. Just a simple question. And it's amazing how that can shift things. And when you have that awareness, taking that time to pause and then having that awareness, and it's like, yeah, that's true. I actually am looking for something else that food is not going to fill. Then go do something else. Go pray, meditate, go for a walk, whatever it is for you that's going to give you that thing that you were looking for without making you feel worse, actually going to make you feel better. Because when you have the food, then you're going to just feel probably worse because you know that you're doing something that's taking you away from your goals. So, yeah, if you emotional eat, I can relate and I totally get it. And there is no judgment from me with emotional eating. I totally understand it. And that's why I wanted to share this episode today, because I want to encourage you in this that you can break those patterns. I mean, those patterns run deep. So give yourself some grace. It starts for so many of us as a child. So often you see like a child falls down and hurts themselves. Well, here's a candy to help you feel better. Or we go for ice cream to celebrate or whatever it is. No one's doing it consciously to harm anyone, but it is a pattern that has been developed over years that I hope we are shifting away from as a culture. But I want you to know that I understand and I want to bring encouragement and hope today and those practical tips that I hope will help you. So if this episode resonated with you, be sure to subscribe, like, share it with a friend. And hey, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. It gets pretty lonely around here sometimes, so I would love to hear your thoughts on eating for comfort or for other reasons beside actual physical hunger. Have an amazing day, ladies. Let's go design a life we love.